Good afternoon. It is 12:30 on your Monday. I'm Julie Broughton. This is Take 6. Hope your work week is starting off well. I imagine this time tomorrow, a lot of us will be very sleepy because we'll stay up late watching the big championship game tonight. The Florida Gators are back in the final game. First time since 2007, Mark Lehman will have a preview of that coming up in just a few minutes. And also, we are very excited to check in with our theme park expert, Haley Coombs. She spent the weekend, I'm so jealous, at Epic Universe, and she will tell us all of the wonderful things she experienced. That is coming up in just a few minutes. But first, condolences today continue to pour in for the Siegel family. We told you over the weekend that billionaire businessman and founder of Westgate Resorts, David Siegel, died at the age of 89 on Saturday morning. Yesterday, Siegel's wife, Jackie Siegel, invited us to her home to talk more about David's legacy and how she plans to carry that forward. He was a husband, father, and the man behind a business empire. But here on the patio of the home where the Siegels raised 8 children, he was just David, a man who loved his family and kept an eye on the electric bill.
He said, if you love me, you'll turn out the lights. And it's like, honey, I love ambiance. But now I'm seeing the electric bill. It's, oh my God, kids, turn out the lights.
What do you want them to know about the man, David Siegel, not just the timeshare mogul?
He was a family man. Here he is fighting multiple myeloma. All of a sudden, at Christmas Day, he says, I want to take the children to Park City to take them on a ski trip and go to Las Vegas. And we did.
Jackie tells me David battled cancer for 5 years, but that didn't slow down the family's mission of fighting the opioid epidemic.
He devoted the last 10 years of his life to saving lives.
In 2015, the Siegel's daughter Victoria died of a fentanyl overdose. Their heartbreak fueled their mission to put Narcan in the hands of law enforcement. Together, they started the Victoria's Voice Foundation to fight the opioid epidemic.
And I'm going to carry on his legacy, and this is what he wanted me to do.
Now, Jackie says their legacy of life-saving is expanding to include advocating for cancer research. She plans to use what she learned during David's battle to help other families.
He really energized our family, and he wants me to use Versailles to raise money and awareness for also to save other people's lives.
Jackie tells me Versailles, the mansion the Siegels have been building since the early 2000s, is nearly finished.
We took him there a few weeks ago, and he was so impressed. I was getting it ready for his 90th birthday. It's like his dream come true, and to see now that our sons, our oldest sons, helped to complete that.
Jackie says she's turning her pain into purpose, and the time to start is right now.
And now he's my guardian angel, and he's going to make sure that we save lives. You know, he's not going to let me rest. He's going to, time to get to work, you know.
She said she has a very demanding guardian angel now. David Siegel would have turned 90 on May 3rd. Jackie says they are still planning to move into Versailles in May. She also told me that they are planning a celebration of life for Friday. She's going to announce the details of the time and the location on her Instagram page, which is Queen of Versailles. And you also in that package heard her talk about their trip at Christmas to Park City. And that's really notable because she was telling us that at the end of last year or last fall, that doctors told them that David likely would not survive until Thanksgiving, and then they were able to take that family trip together on Christmas, which is so meaningful. And she said that she learned a lot through David's battle, and she's going to continue to advocate for Victoria's Voice as well as for cancer research. So it was an honor to be invited into her home to share more about David's legacy. Tax filing season is just about here, and that means that crooks are after your money and your personal information. Lewis Bolden talks about this all the time. He has a word of warning from the IRS and this week's schemes and ripoffs.
We've all gotten them. Unsolicited text messages and emails, seemingly harmless, but secretly after your information.
Unfortunately, each and every year we see more and more tax scams and schemes.
Former IRS Commissioner Danny Werfel sat down with News 6 and says phishing and smishing schemes top the list of this year's Dirty Dozen,
which is our top 12 tax scams to be on the lookout for.
If it comes in email, it's phishing. In text, smishing. Werfel says sometimes the crooks want as much personal information as possible so they can use it to fraudulently file tax returns and claim refund money that isn't theirs. Other times they want fast money now.
It'll say something like, this is the IRS. You owe $4,500. Click here to pay or face significant more penalties.
Does the IRS ever send links?
No.
That's the first red flag, and there are others. Werfel says the IRS won't initiate contact with you by email or social media to request personal or financial information.
It is our effort to get the word out to taxpayers on what to be on the lookout for in terms of tax scams.
If you think you've been the victim of a scheme or ripoff, email me at lbolden@wkmg.com. Remember, don't fall for the scheme. Don't get ripped off. Getting results, I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
There's never any shortage of those bad guys trying to take your money. Now, today is a weather alert day. We are expecting some showers and thunderstorms, some of those potentially severe to move in late tonight. We will talk more about that for you, and we will check in with our theme park expert, Haley Coombs, to hear all about her big weekend at Epic Universe. That's coming up after the break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Time now is 12:38. I'm Julie Broughton. Welcome back to Take 6. If you were watching us on YouTube, you were seeing that beautiful shot of downtown Orlando showing a whole lot of sunshine. We are pinpointing a front that moves into our area late this evening and through the overnight hours. That brings with it some showers, thunderstorms, and the chance for some severe weather, as well as a big cool down. Because of that system, we have designated this evening a weather alert night. We will break that down for you fully coming up in just a few minutes. But first, I feel like we've been talking about this for so long, and now we finally get to hear all of the inside information. We are, of course, talking about Epic Universe. News 6 theme park expert Haley Coombs is with us now. And Haley, I was following along on your Instagram journey this weekend. You looked very excited. I looked very jealous, if you could have seen me back. So I don't even know where to start. Tell us everything. Where do you want to start?
Neither do I. I'm still processing it. I have not come down from my high. Yeah, even today, 2 days later, I'm still going through it all in my head. So I guess it's a good problem when it comes to content to come. So
exactly. So here, let's start with, can you pick a favorite? Are you allowed to say a favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I sent all this footage in, and so it's like I feel like I just like roll that footage. We'll start talking.
Yes.
So I was asked, what is your favorite land or world, I should say? See, this is great too. See, so now we're looking at I Love Burke. And Julie, I thought of you in terms of the hiccup and Toothless meet and greet, because I'm sure you would love
Yes.
to meet a dragon, wouldn't you?
Yes, and I saw you petting him, and I would like to pet him or
Yes.
her. Look very sweet.
Yes, yes, and there is a right way to pet a dragon. You have to he likes to be pet like right on the nose. He doesn't like to be on the chin or the mouth.
Okay.
So if you meet Toothless, make sure and just like how Hiccup did in the movie, like just gentle on
Okay.
the nose, and he'll
Kind
touch
of
and
like a
he'll lick you.
cat.
So yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But in terms of my favorite, yes, I think I could live hours in Donkey Kong Country.
Oh,
So
that's not what I was expecting. Why? What were the highlights?
it was a nostalgia overload, I would say. I mean, I played the game a lot in my Game Boy growing up, and the soundtrack. I know I probably saw my video of admiring the soundtrack and the music, and that just gives you a good vibe all the way through. And of course, Minecraft Madness is a great roller coaster, family roller coaster. So yeah, but this is footage in Super Nintendo World where Donkey Kong Country is part of. That world in itself is a stimulation overload. I walked in. There's so many. It just all your senses are practically touched. I mean, there's so many, like musical or whimsical sound effects and games, and I was just that one. I just kind of stopped and just started looking around. So that was surreal as well. But and yeah, Isle of Berk. This is the Hiccup Swing Gliders coaster, which I thought was kind of a sleeper hit. I was looking forward to that one, but being on that, maybe it's that time of day because you have such a great look of Burke. You travel so far in that world, so I highly recommend Hiccup Swing Gliders. Plus,
Okay.
Hiccup is narrating the whole time you're on your flying journey, so how you have to love that. So
Right. And I know that you got to experience Monsters Unchained, which I have been
yes,
obsessed with wanting to experience. Tell us about that. It was all that you dreamed it would be and more.
yes, yes, absolutely. And so I was part of a VIP tour, so very lucky me. I got
Yes.
to have skip the ride portion and go through kind of the back way. So there were some things I got to miss, I think, in the manor, but yes, the ride itself heavily impressive. We have 14 animatronic figures. One thing that I thought was very interesting was every monster that you see when they make their appearance, it's chronological order from when the monster universe started. So first you have Quasimodo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then second we have the Phantom, I was very excited to see the most, and so that I will say I think his appearance was the most jaw-dropping, exciting. So, and I can't tell you like who came after that in terms of the order, but those two, obviously, I can say those are really cool. But and if you're familiar with Forbidden Journey, it's the same type of ride style where it's the Kuka Claw, so you have the over-the-shoulder harness, and it's taking you, traveling through like you're flying through the manor and seeing all these monsters that Victoria Frankenstein has created to improve her family's legacy and live on. So I was very impressed by that ride. It is worth the hype. And it was funny, like going into that attraction, our tour guide was, making sure does everyone want to experience this ride? And I'm like, this is the ride. For any one of you that don't know, like this is the ride. So yes, highly recommend it. It is absolutely a must do when you get there.
Yes.
So
And I know that you'll be busy putting together all of your experiences for clickorlando.com and what we need to know. So I can't remember when do the rest of us non-VIP people actually get to go?
So May 22nd is the opening day, and Universal hasn't announced soft previews for pass holders. That is a big lingering question I know a lot of people have. And plus, what do annual passes look like now moving forward after May? So that is, again, two big areas that a lot of people want answers to. So
All
we'll
right.
hopefully have answers to that.
Was there anything that surprised you with how much you loved it or that you weren't expecting to be so into everything? I feel like you know all the theme park things, so I feel like it would be hard to really like catch you off guard or surprise you with something extra great.
Yes, I have to say one thing that I was very impressed by. I'm a mom of a young child, and so it's been a long time. Saturday was the first time in a long time where I was go at a park and going on rides and rides. So I wanted to pace myself, but I also wanted to test out a lot of the tester seats, which, are common in front of attractions. And So I was looking at the tester seat at Stardust Racers in Celestial Park, which of course is the big launch coaster there, dueling launch coaster. And a team member, he was telling me about the technology system that Universal is doing, where they're making it more accommodating, where a lot of these seats are going to be built for people with all kinds of body types. So if you're worried, if you have questions about, especially the ones that have like over the lap harnesses, I'm 5'9". Again, have a young child, so I was comfortable on everything. So I wanted to get that out there in terms of a lot of
Yes.
people that were worried about that. So I was very impressed. They were extremely helpful. A lot of these tester seats are kind of secluded too, so you're not like way out in the open if you feel, obviously conscious about it. So I was very impressed by what
Yep.
they did there. So
Well, that is great news. So we love that. And I know a lot of people will be happy to hear about that because I've seen on social media people talking about that as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
inquiring about that. So I'm so glad you tried that out for everyone.
Yes.
So where can we find all of your content and when will you be continuing to roll out more Epic Universe goodies for all of us?
So clickorlando.com/theme parks. You can also clickorlando.com/epic universe. I have a lot to write about for Friday. I'm excited about it. So the hard part is just tackling what I want to do first. But if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, just go to clickorlando.com/newsletters. I am in the loop theme park scoop. So, and you'll hear from me usually every Friday.
And you are in the loop, that we know for sure.
I like to think so. I know. I think more and more, especially walking through that park, and anytime the tour guide would talk about certain things, I'd kind of be like, oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that. So it's boosting my confidence. Definitely.
Yeah, you should have been the tour guide. You'd be like, you want to know even more about that?
There were times where I kind of felt like that. So not to toot my own horn.
Well, you should. I'll toot your horn too. Fabulous. All right, Haley, I can't wait to learn more about all the things that you experienced this weekend, and head to clickorlando.com/theme parks to check out more.
Thank you very much.
Of course. All right, how's your bracket looking? I will tell you that my bracket is long gone. I had Kentucky and St. John's in the final game, and if you are not following along, that is not who is in the final game. But the good news is the Florida Gators are taking on the Houston Cougars tonight in San Antonio, and they could become national champions for the first time since 2007. So we have our fingers crossed for that. Mark Lehman has a preview.
After that big Final Four win over the weekend, a lot of places will be rocking with fans, including the Hideaway Bar here in Orlando. The Gators have been working to get back to the championship since they last won in 2007, and now they're one win away from taking home the trophy. It was an electric night for Gators fans over the weekend as Florida punched their ticket to the national championship.
It was electric. I mean, I felt like I was in Gainesville.
The Florida Gators taking down top overall seed Auburn in a blow-for-blow basketball brawl. Coach Todd Golden saying the win was built on the team's perseverance.
It's resilience, we've had that, been able to put that on display in the NCAA tournament really all year.
Florida will be facing off against Houston tonight after the Cougars put together an unexpected comeback against Duke in the final seconds of their game. Now excitement is building for the showdown, with Gators fans hoping for the team's one shining moment and Florida's first basketball championship in nearly 20 years.
It's like we're back in 2007 all over again, man. This is the dream team right now. This is the destiny. The Gators are going to win the national championship, baby.
And if that fan's excitement was any indication, you can only imagine what it'll be like tonight. Now, heading into tonight's game, Houston is 0-2 in championship matchups. And if Florida comes out on top, this will be their third national title. For now, reporting in Orlando, Mark Lehman, Getting Results, News 6.
I wish I could be as excited about anything as that fan was about that game tonight. Again, tip-off is right here on News 6 just after 8:30. Matt Austin is traveling to Gainesville, so he will be bringing us reports live throughout the afternoon and evening. Again, you can watch all that right here on News 6. Now, we mentioned earlier that tonight is a weather alert night because we're tracking a system heading into central Florida that will bring the chance of showers, some thunderstorms, and even some isolated storms into the picture as we head through the late evening and overnight hours. This is part of the same system that has caused a lot of severe weather through much of the southeast, areas like Kentucky and Tennessee. In fact, over the last week, 20 people have died in the south because of severe weather. CBS's Dave Malkoff has more.
This is Nebraska Task Force 1 on duty 8 hours away from home in flooded northern Arkansas.
Basically everything besides from these trees, none of that water is supposed to be there.
As part of a FEMA team, their job is to help local officials.
The levee we want to check on is right through here.
Brady Papik made sure the levee was holding.
I guess so. Maybe there's a house, it looks like right here.
Then the sheriff's department was concerned about this house. It was clear. This team rolls out with special equipment and training anywhere in the country at a moment's notice.
It mirrors our profession as firefighters. That's what we do. This is just at a big national level.
The extensive flooding spread into nearby states. This house floated down the Kentucky River. In Frankfort, Kentucky, the water level surpassed 48 feet overnight, challenging the record set in 1978. The rushing waters inundated homes and businesses. The owner of one basement repair service is now the one in need.
I never thought in a million years I'd be the one needing saving.
Over the weekend, severe winds and tornadoes struck other parts of the southeast, like this twister in northern Mississippi that blew through Blue Springs, battering farms and tearing off the roofs of homes while toppling multiple trees. The powerful storm also prompted tornado warnings in northern Tennessee.
There's just been so many tornadoes lately that it's just scary of the devastation, so many different places.
And here in northern Arkansas, the concern is this rising floodwater. You see that little white building back there? That's where the Black River starts. Anything in front of it is all floodwater. This is only expected to go up for the next couple days, possibly crest on Wednesday. But then the rising floodwater could be an issue for the rest of the week. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Pocahontas, Arkansas.
Man, looking rough through there. That same system is headed our way. It will not have the intensity, though, when it gets here, although we are looking at that potential of a few severe thunderstorms, especially late tonight and into the overnight hours. So go ahead and make sure you have a way to get those weather alerts through the overnight hours if you're sleeping. Now, we are designating a weather alert day for tonight, early tomorrow, as that cold front brings some strong storms. The best timeline looks to be storms moving into our northern counties, like Marion County, by around 11 o'clock this evening, and then it will move through the southern counties and eventually wrapping up by around 4 to 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. That means we could be talking about heavy rain, gusty winds, and we cannot rule out an isolated tornado with some of these storms. Here's how it looks as we are taking you through our Monday afternoon. Now, we are not dealing with any strong showers or thunderstorms out there right now. Radar scanning out dry force. We have a strong wind out of the southwest. That will keep our sea breeze pinned to the east coast. We may see some showers and storms popping along our east coast sea breeze, which will then move out over the Atlantic. But if you look off to our north, those areas of yellow, that shows us where a tornado watch is posted for parts of the Big Bend into North Florida until 6 o'clock tonight. As of now, we are not under any sort of watch criteria, but we are under a level 1 threat for our northern counties, including Marion County, areas like the Villages, on over into Sumter County, and a little sliver of northwest Flagler County. And that means we could be talking about gusty winds, heavy rain, lightning, some small hail possible, and again, a very low threat of isolated tornadic activity. Here's how it looks for you as we continue to roll you through the afternoon hours. We've seen a decent amount of sunshine today, and the suns and the wind coming in out of the southwest will kick those temperatures way up into the 90s for us. Here's a look at our timing. The clouds and rain forecast. Again, we could see a few isolated showers around 9, 10 o'clock, but by around 11 o'clock, that is when that main line really begins to move into our northern counties, taking you through the overnight hours. By around 1 o'clock, still looking at the potential of some heavy rain, some gusty winds, a lot of lightning in areas like northern Brevard County, and then another wave moving through around 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. The bulk of this will wrap up by around 7 or 8 o'clock, but we can't rule out a few lingering isolated showers as that front passes to our south. And then behind that, we will see a big cool down. Now, right now, we are feeling very tropical out there, very warm, very humid ahead of that system. 86 right now in Orlando. In Leesburg, you're at 85, and you're already at 87 in both Ocala and the Villages. Most of us today will climb into the low 90s, even possible along our coastal areas. Palm Coast, 93 again. That is thanks to that southwesterly flow. Average high this time of year is 82 degrees. Here's how it looks as we take you through the next 7 days. Again, today is a weather alert day for this evening into early tomorrow. Rain chances along with that system are at 50%. 30% for the first part of the day tomorrow, and we will cool down into the 70s for our highs for tomorrow and Wednesday. Wednesday, 79 for your high before climbing back to around 80 on Thursday, and then a little bit closer to the normal range as we wrap up our work week and head into the weekend. Now, meteorologist Jonathan Kagas and I will be here throughout the afternoon and evening, keeping you up to date on any storms that you need to know about, and we will have a much more in-depth breakdown of the system for you coming up on News 6 starting at 4. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If you have any questions or comments for us at Take 6, head to clickorlando.com/Take 6. I'll see you at 4.